All right, so this is our first annual Two Strike Noise, and annual, hopefully we'll do this more than once a year. Two Strike Noise, This Week in Baseball Rewatch. We've got a couple of episodes of, they're all classic This Week in Baseball because it's no longer on the air. But these are two Mel Allen era, which Mel Allen, obviously the voice of the Yankees for a very long time, and the voice of baseball. I know, Mark, for you and I, our youth, when this was really the biggest exposure, at least for me, living in a non-minor major league city, that I got of baseball throughout the week, because I didn't have a home team that was broadcast all the time. So Mel Allen and This Week in Baseball was it for me in terms of what did the Mets do, or some team that I would never see otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. There was no ESPN, there was no Root Sports, there was no MLB Network. We got what we were given, and we were lucky and happy to have it.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this on our podcast, and if you're just seeing this for the first time, we are Two Strike Noise. We have a weekly baseball history podcast. You can find links in the show notes or on Twitch. If you're watching us there, or YouTube, it'll all be there. You can join us every week. We've got a large back catalog at this point of some great baseball history stories for you as well. But Mark grew up in Seattle. I grew up in Salt Lake City. So I think I mentioned it before. For some reason, in 1989 and 90, which was great for me as an A's fan, we had a local independent station in Salt Lake City that carried every A's game. Don't know why, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was for me. I mean, Ricky Henderson and the good A's all the time. But I remember, man, on Friday and Saturday nights, my friends would be going out, and I would be like, "Do I want to go out? The A's game's on tonight."
I remember those days.
It's still like that, though. My wife's like, "Let's go out to dinner." I'm like, "The A's game's starting."
Yeah, I have that issue too, and I'm really working hard at becoming a better husband and not doing that every single day.
Well, and also at this point, you can record a game or call it up on demand very easily. I mean, we've both got MLB.TV and we have local broadcasts, so it's a lot easier than having to rely on Mel Allen. But just again, I want to talk about the theme in between. We've got two episodes. I want to talk about the theme because the theme gets stuck in your head. I have been singing both the opening and closing theme for the last 3 days in preparation of this, having watched it. So we'll talk about that in between. But what do you say we just get started here? This is from, I did want to show one thing. This episode is from July 25th, 1985. So if you take a look here, I pulled up what exactly is going on in baseball in the week of July 27th, 1985. So you can look here, you can see in the East, the Blue Jays out to a pretty big lead. This is, of course, when you only had two divisions in each league. Yankees coming up second. That's where Ricky Henderson was at this point. And if you're new here, I'm a huge Ricky fan, so that's where Ricky was at this point with Billy Martin managing. If we go to the AL West, we got the California Angels. We like it when they're the California Angels, the Royals, the Oakland. And Mark, what's going on down here with Seattle?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough patch. We had about a 35-year rough patch that we hit, and we weren't doing so well at that time.
I think you're still in it, aren't you?
well, we picked up a new one. We got a whole new one. We stopped for a few years, and we're like, hey, look, we can make the playoffs, and then we just went, not without Ichiro, though.
Well, look at that. Chuck Cottier as your manager finished sixth in the AL West. Look at this, Davis. You got AD, you got Mr. Mariner, that's fine. You got Spike Owen, the one and only team captain ever in Seattle Mariners history. We know
Captain
that.
Spike, baby.
Yeah, the one and only. He did even play the whole season with Seattle. Jim Presley, Phil Bradley, those are a couple of names I definitely think of with the Mariners. Got Dave Henderson, who I think of with the A's and the Red Sox, but yeah, he was in Seattle for a while. Al Collins, Gorman Thomas at age 34, rounding out a great career as in kind of winding it down there.
Nothing against Gorman Thomas, but he was like the most free swinging. I used to say, hey, I'm going to be a Gorman Thomas. I'm going to close my eyes and swing as hard as I can in case I accidentally hit something.
Well, this is what we talk about on our podcast, how we came up with the podcast, and we would generally be doing stuff like this, but during a Mariners game while we were working it. So let's just do it here. Look at Gorman Thomas. Led the league in home runs 2 times in 79, 82. Led the league in strikeouts as well. So that was, I don't think Rob Deere was on the Brewers at that point, but that would have been a 1-2 combo for strikeouts. Let's see, 268 career home runs. So a lot of long balls, but he was winding. Go ahead.
That's a good number. I mean, I can't take that away from him.
No, he got 100 plus RBIs 3 times. And he was just winding it down. 86 was his final year. He played part of it in Seattle, and then I'm assuming went back and ended it in Milwaukee, where he played most of his career. But you had the Bull, Seinfeld veteran.
Hurdle came up as a Mariner, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I usually think of him as a Yankee, or a Royal actually is what I think of him as.
Right.
But yeah, look at that. First 3 years in Seattle and then Kansas City. Got our show favorite, Dave Valley and the Valley Rally. Harold Reynolds, Ken Phelps. You'll notice that there is no Jay Buhner on this team yet.
Right, not yet. It's about to happen.
Ken Phelps.
Ken Phelps.
My baseball people keep telling me Ken Phelps. Yeah, so you got that. Yvonne Calderon, one of my favorites. Is it the Black Calderon?
Yeah, it's Yvonne Bubbling Calderon.
Wasn't the Black Cauldron? Wasn't that like a cartoon?
It's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this pitching staff is pretty
unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got a very young Mark Langston before he's traded for Randy Johnson. You've got a very young Bill Swift. And, Mike Morgan, who pitched till he was really old. Mike Moore. Yeah, that's quite a staff you got there. Let's just go back here and look at the National League before we start this episode. St. Louis and the Mets having a good battle there. Montreal hanging in. And in the West, it's the Dodgers, the Dads, and the Reds. Boy, remember when Cincinnati and Atlanta were in the National League West? Completely makes sense.
Oh, man. Yeah, you know what? We got to go over realignment at some point because it used to be so different. The playoff structure was completely different. It's a very different game now, and as far as winning in the postseason.
Yeah, look at Atlanta is further east than Pittsburgh, Chicago. I'm not sure about Philadelphia or Montreal. I think it's pretty close to New York. St. Louis is much just some radical places for teams to be. But that's what the standings look like on this week, which is again July 27th, 1985. So let's start this episode now. We are not we're not sponsored here at all by the Easy Chair Corporation or whatever this is. Mark and I were trying to remember what these are, the seats that eject you slowly if you're a senior. But let's go ahead and get started with our first episode and hear the theme music. Let's hear Mel Allen and let's see what he's talking about.
Los Angeles love story. The Dodgers are a smash hit in Hollywood after they temporarily dampened the spirit of St. Louis.
Boy, I think he was out.
Whitey.
Picked off.
A Montreal picture in motion.
There's our boy.
The Terminator displays.
Yeah, gotta love Reardon.
Yeah.
Leaving no doubt that he's the man with the golden arm.
All-time save
great
leader
beard.
at one point.
Yes.
Rewriting the script. A New York Yankee road warrior.
Wait, what?
Gone with the wind.
What? Ricky Henderson's in this?
Let me tell you, that's entertainment.
I didn't know that.
Total random chance, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was not aware that he was in this
California's
episode.
sweet. The little general continues his long quest for that championship season. So take your seats.
Was that
for glory, y'all.
Gene Mock?
This week in
I
baseball.
think so, yeah. That's
me
kind of
just-
funny.
Yeah, Gene Mock. Remember him?
This week
Oh, we're also brought to you by Old Spice. So thank you, Menon, I believe.
National League focus. In Los Angeles,
I think
the
so. Oh,
Dodgers
no.
clipped the
It's not
Cubs.
important.
Take note, the Dodgers have begun to make their mark, thanks in big part to a top-flight pitching staff that helped Los
Mark, I
Angeles
know
win
you can't see
24
chat,
out of
but
34
we have a listener
to take
called
over
Three
first place
Strike
in the
Silence, obviously a big fan. That's very clever.
We'll work on that.
98 back-to-back, and it's a good sign.
It's a good sign of something.
For the Cardinals,
The White Rat.
signs of vulnerability as they lost 3 out of 4.
Boo.
Hershiser won the opener, and in his next start,
So a little inside info about our
an
an episode we have coming up. We have learned from a source within an organization that Oral Hershiser played for that Oral Hershiser ratted out players to the manager about things. So.
With that elbow coming back again where it's hurting, I think the biggest...
Doesn't Ron Peronoski, doesn't he look like Mike Scioscia?
A little bit, yeah. That's kind of scary. Peronoski was a closer before there were really closers. I remember he was big-time reliever with the 63 Dodgers.
Wow, I didn't know that. Let's.
LA's biggest asset on the mound is Fernando Valenzuela.
Well, here's
He
the whole point of this. We're gonna go ahead and we'll pause the episode and we'll go back to our webpage here and just look at Ron Peronoski, what he did as a pitcher, because I was unaware of that. 2-time World Series champs. I wish it told you up top where it was. 63 and 65 with the Dodgers.
Yep.
Let's see. Looks like he was mainly a reliever. You mentioned he's a closer. Led the league. Look at that, 2 years in a row. Yeah, not bad numbers. 79, 74 overall, 178 saves. And
and that's before people played to the actual save statistic. That was just he was in the game because he was the best pitcher they had.
Yeah, didn't they retroactively go back and calculate these saves? So when he was brought in these situations, there was no stat called. Yeah.
Nobody knew he had a save. He did, but no one knew.
Yeah, he would just be the guy you'd bring in at the end. So, Ron Peronoski. All right, that's what we're here to do. Let's go back and.
Number 11, complete game number 12, and shutout number 5, most in the majors. As the Dodgers took
was our dude behind home plate with the radar gun there? I didn't see it.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't notice.
But the Cards came right back with a bang in the 10th inning of Game 4 when Steve Braun pinch hit with a man on.
Steve Braun. I don't remember him.
Braun's first home run in 2 years gave the Redbirds a 4-2 win. As
2 years.
Teams ended the series, still holding on
I like
to
the pullovers.
slight leads atop their divisions.
What
And
what
the
is
Saints
with the
belt.
Dodgers having weak hitters
Now let's move on to
hit
New York.
home runs off
The
them
Mets
in
burn
clutch
Atlanta.
situations?
Ozzy.
The Mets
that
kept
what
Good
it
at that.
on first place St. Louis.
Well, and then the dude with
winning the
no
first
home
2
runs in
games
2
for
years.
The Braves, and then going positively batty, scoring a club record 31 runs in the next 2 games.
Oh. The makings of a World Series. Oh, look at Gary. You can almost see the refrigerator strapped to his back when he's running.
Yeah, definitely the funky backup music.
Yeah, I love that. The horns.
Really been hot since returning from injury in late June. The straw man smacked 2
Darryl.
homers,
Look at that
including a
swing.
grand slam, and drove in 7 runs.
Dale Murphy, too.
A major league high for 1 game this year.
Whoops.
Why are left-handed swings
George
just
Foster
prettier?
was also booming.
I don't know. It's so
3
true
hits
though.
and
Maybe there's
5
just never a
RBIs in 1
camera on
game,
the other side of the
raising
plate.
his team rating totals to 15 homers and 50
Dale Murphy
runs.
doing a lot of running backwards in this series.
Murphy set a record that year for pedaling backwards.
There's Keith.
Sounds like my pitching career. My center fielder hated me.
While boosting his batting average above
In
280.
softball?
Yeah. Will you keep it down? I'm like, well,
Met fans to a
not really.
variety of Hojo flavors.
Okay,
Four
Hodges wasn't
nonsense.
that great swinging left-handed. But he's the MLB eating champ. And was there
Yeah,
was
I mean-
Tom Paciorek.
All right.
look at that sweet hair. Guy after my own heart right there.
Terry
Yeah, it
Bates
looks like you.
collected 2 hits to to have a
See,
feature
well, I'm
time
better looking.
in his first major league start since 1982.
Are you really?
In fact, it's dangerous to even put us on here visually because people
Yeah.
are gonna like start realizing
Leach
how
also
attractive
ate
we
up
are.
the Braves on the mound,
Yes,
winning
that's
his
a,
first game
it's
since
a
being called
problem
from
we
the
often
minors in
have.
late June.
It's fun to pretend.
Who is that? Bob Ojeda? Is
The
that what
Mets
he's
won 15 out of 17
Ojeda,
before
yeah.
Cincinnati swept 3 games
like Frank
in New
Viola
York
more
to
than-
cool 'em off.
Interesting how much smaller
Time
the
now
players
to
are.
feature a rough
in this era.
reliever known as
It's just
the
because the
Terminator.
video's smaller.
Jeff Reardon has made many a happy
Reardon was a
ending
pretty
for
big guy, though,
moving
wasn't he?
Montreal team.
Heck,
After
a
a
deal.
team record 76 saves in over 3 seasons for the Expos, Reardon's looking tougher than
Jeff
ever.
Reardon.
Now that he's added a
He was only
curveball to
6
his
foot
mound
190. For some reason, I always thought he was like a big dude.
Well, most players in this era were only 4'9".
Little known fact.
Almost to a man.
That's been a big reason for my success.
Oh, look at those great.
No doubt the curve
Walls
has
at,
helped make Reardon even
Olympic
more
Stadium.
formidable. But the 29-year-old right-hander still looks
I think
to
this
be
was
ever
when the roof,
reliable
before they had
fastball
the
for his
roof on
primary
it.
weapon.
Sal
I forget what the crime was that he committed that he had to stay in Canada all those years.
They're not really looking for the fastball like they have in the past. So.
Jeff
I mean,
Reardon,
he must have done something bad.
With
We
a
have to
major
deal with
league
that.
leading
he probably
24 saves,
threw it at
plus a
Seagull.
2.50 ERA, Reardon credits
Winfield
the
never
confidence of
learned
skipper Buck
from it.
Rogers.
No, he should have been shipped to Canada too.
Been given the chance to go in there and save the games by
There's Buck
Buck.
Rogers.
No, I had 3 good seasons in a row.
If I say
think, as a
beady,
stopper,
beady, beady,
but
okay,
only
Buck,
getting 30,
does that mean
30
anything to you?
35 chances for saves. It's kind of hard to save 40 games.
Sounds familiar, but I'm not
So
sure.
this year he's given
You
me the
remember
chance,
the
and also my
TV
arm
show
is
Buck
coming
Rogers in the
back a real
21st
healthy
century?
and getting all my
Yes.
pitches working
Not to be
this year.
confused with Duck
Reardon
Dodgers.
earned his first
And at 24th and a half
All-Star
cents.
for his outstanding
But
first
that was a
half
little
season.
robot, like his
And continues
companion. It was a
serving
it
notice
go
to one
beady,
and
beady,
all.
beady. Okay, Buck.
Do not tamper with the Terminator.
Yeah, I don't know why I know that.
Whole lot of confidence in
Sweet,
himself this year. He's getting the
grayish
opportunity to
white
save games.
sideburns.
He's doing the job, and as long as he's doing
Salt
the
and
job
pepper.
the way he
Yeah,
is
very
now,
cool. I don't do
certainly
that.
gonna get the
I totally
opportunity
dye my hair.
to save a whole lot
I
more
just get
I
rid
can't
of
deal
mine.
with getting older.
Now,
Just get rid of
let's
them.
open the
Oh, here we go.
notebook for
TWIB
this
notes.
week in baseball
Gotta love the
TWIB
TWIB notes.
TWIB
from
notes.
Here we go.
around the National League. Third baseman Buddy Bell feels right at home in the Reds dugout.
Jeez,
since
how
the trade
was there
from
3
Texas to
generations
his
of Bells that
hometown
played in
Yep.
Cincinnati?
The
Yeah, I think they're all
five-time
third basemen.
All-Star broke in with Cleveland in 1972. 7 years later, he became a Ranger,
That looks
winning
like
6
Major
Gold
League.
Gloves and setting several team hitting marks.
The way that was
In his Reds
filmed,
homecoming,
it looked
Bell
just
got
like
right
Major
into the
League.
swing with a base hit. A real thrill for one hometown rooter in particular, his father Gus,
God, those
who also wore number 25
Three Rivers
when
and
he played
Riverfront
in
were just
Cincinnati for
so
9
ugly
seasons
to watch
from
games on.
1953
They were
to
they were
1961.
not built in an era of Renaissance
San
ballparks.
Diego's Lamar Hoyt has won 11 straight
Oh, here's my
games,
boy,
goes
Lamar.
13-4, and
Here's it,
control
Hoyt.
has been a big reason. In 147 innings,
It looks like 3 strike silence is actually Marshall. He's here to make sure that we don't mess up. And he said, yes, Gus, Buddy, and
When
David Bell.
Padre teammate Terry Kennedy cracked a home run against Cub pitcher Steve Trout, he became the first
Steve
left-handed batter
Any relation to
homer
Mike?
Trout
No?
in 3 years.
None
Over
whatsoever,
482
especially in the talent zone.
Now it's time for this
Thank you,
week's
Nissan,
quiz.
also for
Brought to you
jumping
by
on board,
Nissan.
sponsoring the old
Builders,
Yeah,
two-strike noise. We
uh,
really appreciate it.
Send us that check, that big
Over
check you
50
promised us, Nissan.
Those cars.
Eddie Haas manages a Brave lineup filled with lively lumber. Second in
Lively
the league
lumber.
in homers and
That's
fourth
an
in
interesting
hits.
shot.
There's your
Incidentally,
guy,
not
Oberfell,
one
man.
member of the Braves is a
Oberfell.
switch hitter. The only team in the league without one.
Huh.
Now for this week's quiz.
It's Claudel.
Can you name the 2 American League teams without any switch hitters? Stay
Bobby.
tuned and don't go west to find
Oh,
the answer.
Dale's not pedaling backwards.
Every now and then, America's team, the Atlanta Braves, take on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, nice. You gotta like this commercial.
There's 5 for 1.
On the Super Station today.
America's team, baby. And why? Because they said so.
Because you can see them.
American League scene. In Minnesota, the Yankees kept climbing.
Uh-oh, the Yankees in 1985.
Yeah, I thought we were a Red Sox history podcast.
Yeah, that's.
But Joe Cowley cruised to victory the next night for win number 8.
Oh, I don't know how we got pigeonholed because we did 2 episodes in a row about the Red Sox. All of a sudden,
that was really weird.
Yeah.
Hey, these guys are Red Sox fans. Maybe it's because of my attitude towards the.
By striking out the side in the 9th inning.
Look at that. The Twins didn't have names on the back of their jerseys at that point.
No, they didn't. See this stuff we learned?
Yeah. There's Ron Hassey and then Mattingly. And a lot of hair. Oh,
sweet 80s hair, man. Oh, look at this guy.
Speaking of a lot of hair, man, Ricky had that Jerry curl.
Oh, the Jerry curl. Yeah, he
Not
didn't
many
even
good
wear
players
the.
on this 85 game. I'm sorry, I'm reading chat here. You got Ricky, you got Mattingly, you got Winfield, you got Mike Pagliarulo, Dave Rigetti.
And up to his league lead with 75.
I'm sorry, I got a little worked up there.
The Twins tried to get a grip on
In fact, let's go back and let's take a look at this Yankees squad, shall we? Because I'm worked up now. I think Marshall's trolling us, but let's see. You got Mattingly, you got Willie Randolph, Bobby Meacham, Mike Pagliarulo, who's awesome because he's Mike Pagliarulo. Did you know Ken Griffey Jr. was on this team?
What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Griffey. Yeah, I saw him on there. He's old,
Ken Griffey
man.
Jr. was on this team. I bet you didn't know that. Ricky,
I didn't.
Winfield, and then you had Baylor as the DH.
Oh, wow.
You got Dale Barra, if you can get him out of the clubhouse playing those video games. You got Rex the Sex Huddler. Juan, don't call me Bobby Bonilla. And then you got the Negro Brothers, both of them. You've got Rags, you've got Guidry.
Wow.
This wasn't a bad team. They finished 97-64. But yeah. Finished let's see who finished who won the East. Was it the Tigers in 85?
Let's see, the 84 was the big year for them, and so they were still good then.
That was Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Although they don't want Baseball Reference doesn't want it. There we go. Toronto by 2 games.
Oy.
Yeah, 97. I mean, that was when the Yankees, everyone thought they were going to take off because they did have Ricky. They had Mattingly. You know, they had those guys. But then Ricky got hurt, and then Ricky got run out, and Mattingly's back started giving him problems, and Winfield was throwing at birds and stuff. So
Seabirds.
Yeah.
Not being kind.
Foiled their plans with win number 12 in a row. Longest streak in the majors this season. The victory also lifted
Billy's
lifetime record against Minnesota.
It's his 6th time managing.
In Game 4, the Twins pointed to their pitching for help, but Dave Winfield made a powerful point of his own.
That's a Winfield swing right there.
And collecting game-winning hit
that was a
number
bomb.
11 as New York
do a show on Mr. Winfield and his relationship with George Steinbrenner.
Were also sitting pretty with 46-year-old Phil
I think he
Niekro
stuck
on
with
the
a
mound.
no-flap
Knuckleballing
batting
his way
helmet,
to
didn't
win
he, through the
number 9.
end of his career?
The
Because he was
you're right,
grandfathered
yeah.
in?
Victory of his career.
He was grandfathered
New
in.
York
Yeah.
took 3 out of 4 from the Twins to go
I mean, a lot of
24-8
players.
since
Ricky was
mid-June.
grandfathered in, but
But
he
then they ran into a royal
used
rip
the
of
ear
3
flap.
straight losses in Kansas City.
Okay.
Cleaned
Wow,
up
somebody's at your door.
Chicago
One
fans
second.
were frisky at Comiskey because the Sox took 3 out of 4 from
You're
the
going to rely
Indians.
on me to...
Reed Nichols recently had his Sox traded from red to white, and he led a Chicago slugfest in
I
the
love
opener
those uniforms.
by going
Those are-
4 for 5 with 3 RBIs.
I would 100% like to see those Sox
The
uniforms come
Sox were
back.
also
Not on
fortunate
him.
on the mound as Britt Burns put the heat on Cleveland
Britt
with a
Burns.
10-0 win.
He was an
Shutting out
A
the
for a
Indians
while
for the
too,
3rd
wasn't
time
he? Or am I
this
just
year
thinking of
and
Todd?
extending his scoreless streak
I think you're thinking of
against
Todd
them
Burns,
to
but
32
I don't know. Maybe they were a second-degree burn team.
next night, Sox fans were treated to another zero hero as 40-year-old Tom Seaver tossed a 4-hit shutout.
Nope, White Sox for
Tom's
all.
10th win of the year, leaving him just 2 shy of career
What's going
victory
on
number
with
300.
Baseball Reference today? For his
Seaver
entire career.
dealing at the age of 40. Wow.
The game's only run, courtesy of catcher Carlton Fisk, who unloaded one of his major league leading 26 home runs.
You know,
as the
Ivan
White Sox
Rodriguez
win
is
the
called
season
Pudge too,
series
and there's been
against
Yeah.
plenty of
Cleveland
other guys that have
with
been
a
called
10-2
Pudge, but
record.
Fisk is pudgy. Look at him. He is
Yeah, no,
not
Pudge
a...
was a
Let's
Pudge was a
review this
pudger.
week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the American
All right,
League.
now we got the good league TWIB notes.
Boston's Wade Boggs was in the swing with a 27-game hitting
I had a Wade
streak,
Boggs
strongest
poster in my
the
room
majors this year.
growing up.
Improving
27-game
his
hitting
batting
streak.
average to 344, third best in the league. 344 is also the 4-year career average for 27-year-old Boggs.
You know, he's got the
He won
exact
the
same swing as
1983
Carney
American League
Lansford,
batting
just from the
championship.
left side.
I've always thought that too. That's funny that you mentioned it
That
because
is-
I seriously, I see it.
I was just seeing that, and then I saw some interview with Carney earlier today, and they showed batting highlights, and I'm like, wow, that looks
Learning how
just
to wear
like
the
it.
gear, went behind the plate to catch in the 11th inning against Texas. A career first for Brookins.
Tom
Detroit
Brookins.
won in the 15th
Brookins.
inning, but lost the other 3 games to the Rangers.
Well, he doesn't know how to wear a cup.
For the second
Did you
time
see
in 2 weeks, Boston caught a California base runner napping with the old hidden ball trick.
Oh my.
Second
Uh-oh, hidden
base,
ball
Marty
trick.
Barrett pulled it off both times. Here against Doug
Marty
DeCinces.
Grinning Barrett.
No point arguing, Doug. Now let's pull
Nissan's
on
back.
Thanks again for
this week's
Nissan. You're looking for a
quiz.
car?
Sparky Anderson's Detroit
Think
Tigers
Nissan.
are one of the 2 American League teams without a switch hitter in their lineup.
Sparky.
The other is John McNamara's Boston Red Sox. And
Now,
they
if
lead the
anybody
majors
got
in
that
hitting with a
right, I would,
278 team
you know,
batting
today.
Impressive. And no lying.
At the start of the season, a pair of switch hitters were on Detroit's roster, rookie infielder Chris Pataro and rookie outfielder Nelson Simmons. But
Ooh,
the
never heard
Tigers
of
sent
either of them.
both players back down to the minors in late June.
New Old Spice Solid. Keep that.
Hey,
SSS
fans,
Mariner?
check it out.
Or SSM Mariner? Was that it?
Anxiety abounds when big leaguers try to fly right,
Hey.
but
Mike Eve?
instead get grounded.
Oh, you know goofy stuff's gonna happen if you got piano music.
It's that silly Scott Joplinish crazy tune.
So are just errors considered comical at this point?
Now, here's what I call an
I guess so.
landing. You know, in baseball, sometimes anything goes. Only problem is where it lands.
Ted Power?
Nobody knows.
I'm just saying random names that I remember as they should.
That was Kenny Powers, I think.
I remember whenever I'd see these, I'm just like, I just don't want to see Ricky in one of these.
Uh-oh.
He didn't even try.
Yes, just dropping a ball was considered
Lost
humorous.
in space? Well, don't space
It
out.
is. It's
You never
literally,
know
oh,
when
he
you might
committed
have
an
to
error.
crash
Put it on the
site.
blooper reel.
So clear the runway and call out the rescue squad. 'Cause we've
It's in here
arrived
somewhere.
at the end
There
of
you
a
go.
mighty
Don't
No,
you
that
have
one's
to-
from 1942.
Don't you have to at least put in an effort to
Time
find
now
it?
to take off with
You would
fielding
think.
finesse, the kind of sparkle and luster only big leaguers can muster. Up
See a lot of
first,
strokes.
Now we
I
got
like
the
it.
great
Tommy
plays.
Hurd.
Tommy Hurd?
Clark.
Atlanta Brave Paul Zubella.
Is that
Wow.
Tim Raines running? Because that's pretty impressive to get in.
Brave teammate Claudel Washington.
There's Claudio again. I got in a little Twitter spat yesterday with somebody that was claiming that Tim Raines was an overall better player than Ricky Henderson. So,
Really?
yeah.
About face.
He did not have a lot of support.
Danny Wallen, Houston Astros. Detroit Tiger Doug Flynn.
Okay, that's a nice play. Is it really?
Cincinnati
Right.
Red Frank Pastore staying with it. Red teammate Dave Parker.
Whoa.
New
Good
York
Dave.
Met Len Dykstra.
Oh, Lenny Dykstra.
Los Angeles Dodger, Candy Maldonado.
Wow, I would have never thought Candy Maldonado would have ever made a play like that.
Thought of him as rather a big guy.
Yeah, like more of a DH left fielder.
Teammate Julio Cruz. Over
Hey, Cruiser.
Oh,
and Chicago Cub Larry Boa. Well done.
that was Carmelo running. My boy.
Now,
There's your Gene Mauch,
time
man.
to march front and center with California's Little
Gene
General.
Mach 5.
You call him the Little General?
I guess so. I thought that was somebody else.
Ross Perot.
I thought it was like,
Toward the end, when we started getting
Uh,
it looked like we had a chance to win. And some
I mean, it's Charlie
started running around my
Charlie Chaplin.
stomach again.
oh, well, Joe Morgan is also
And when
known
there
as
was
the
a
Little General.
managerial move here, I was
Okay.
ready to accept it. For the first time in the 5 years that I've been associated with the Angels, I went to the instructional league last year.
Let's see, Johnny Bench was known as the Little General.
Was so
General
enthused about
Crowder?
being down there, I ended up going back 4 times. And
How is Johnny
passed.
Bench little?
I'd go in there for a day or
I
two and
don't
said,
know.
"There's no use
Joe
being down here,
Morgan.
there isn't anything."
Nothing but talent for Mauch to work with these days, as the surprising Angels stand atop the
Yeah,
West
those are the only
with a
guys that are
fine blend
no
of
Gene
experience
Mach
and
known
youth.
as.
First on any team is pitching. And
Miller
California's
Huggins?
Hey, real
collection
stirrups,
of
man.
young arms
Give him
is
some extra
sporting the
points.
best ERA
Let's see,
of
Miller
any staff in
Huggins.
the league.
Marshall says Miller Huggins.
Miller Huggins.
Defense is another piece of a winning puzzle, and the Angels rank first in the league in fielding percentage.
Miller Huggins was known as Hug or Mighty Might.
The big question
Hey,
now is
Mike.
offense.
Nice, a little Marvel
The
kind of
team's
intro.
247 batting average ranks second to last in the league, but with Mauch in command, the Angels feel confident.
He's a manager that goes out there. He's extremely
Who was it? We had
a ready for
A
anything.
guest on. I think it might have been Dave Dravecki that didn't know how to pronounce Doug DeCinces.
He's behind you 110%, and he really lets you know.
Like called him Doug DeCinces or Cincinnati or something.
Hey, Gary Pettis, man. He was playing. He was in the Oakland organization the last year. I worked in the clubhouse in Tacoma. Great guy.
Oh, R.I.P.
Oh, Donnie Moore. There's a sad story we told on the show.
Do you remember when every team had those batting practice
The ninth
jerseys that
winningest
were
manager of all time,
like just
Mauch
mesh like
began
that?
with Philadelphia
I have a
in
couple of them
1960.
still.
9 years
Yeah.
later, he moved on to Montreal, and in '76 went to Minnesota. Then in 1981, it was on to California. And although he holds the mark for most years managing without winning a pennant, his Angels did win the West in '82. Now in his 24th
Oh.
season, the Little General
Is that
remains
Reggie
a
getting ready to kill the
first-class
queen?
leader. And now it's time for an ode. This week,
Oh, I wish we had the whole
salutes
commercial.
Ode to be McDowell of Texas.
Oh, to be.
In a 15
Oh, to be
inning
young
game
again,
against
McDowell.
Detroit, he tied a big league record.
Do you
with
think he's going to
15
mention
putouts
his
and
water
also
bill?
nailed the Tiger at home.
Dino Petrali.
Then the rookie was great at the plate in a win over Cleveland. After hitting a single, double, and triple,
He was number
McDowell
0. You
needed
didn't
a
see a
home
lot
run
of
to
number
become the
zeros at
first
that
Ranger
point.
ever to
It
hit
was
full
because his
cycle.
name starts with O.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, this is George, or somebody Mitchell, not George Mitchell.
Not
No,
that guy.
Yeah, I guess we're talking about ODB.
Consecutive hits and
Never
two
mind.
straight game winners. Congratulations, Little O. And that's all for now, folks.
Little O.
See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Oh, that was fun. A lot of names I hadn't heard in a long time.
I don't remember it being that short.
Well, there's no commercials.
My time with you, though, Jeff, always seems to fly by.
Well, don't worry, because we've got a whole other episode to watch, and we've got a couple other things to do here in between. There's Gary. Oh, the dogs like that one, apparently. Groot is on the... Oh, there's... Oh, no, that's... Yeah, it's... what's the name? Tony Pena. Pete Rose, not very svelte there. So just pay attention to this music, because this is what we're going to talk about here. So let's instead of watching that freeze frame, why don't we let's have a commercial break here with something that I think everybody will find Well, I hope everybody finds it interesting.
Discover the defensive training secrets of America's finest baseball school. And
I don't remember
exciting new
if Tom
video
Emanski
tape.
advertised during
This is the
This Week in
professional instructional
Baseball.
video that gets results.
I remember
these
these
youngsters
videos.
added an amazing 6 miles per hour to their arm
See you later,
strength,
Three
while
Strike
fastly
Silence.
improving their
Props for
running speed and defensive
the
skills in
props
just
for
a few weeks of work.
the name.
Baseball
Thanks for
World's revolutionary
joining
new
us
video features professional
and,
staff and
supporting us
instructor
all the
Tom
time. We really
Emanski,
appreciate
and
it.
the same defensive drills used by Baseball World's back-to-back 1990-91 AAU National Championship teams.
I was
Lou
telling
Pavlovich,
Mark
Jr.,
that
editor of
I
Future
did.
Baseball
These
magazine, calls it a
Tom
masterpiece,
Emanski videos
the
are
best defensive
on
drill video ever
the
produced.
internet. If you search
San Diego
for them, they're on
Padres
YouTube.
Major League superstar Fred McGriff agrees.
They're
I'm so impressed
interesting
with the
to-
instructional videos by Coach Emanski that I've given them my full endorsement. When you watch them, you'll know why.
Baseball World's defensive drill video makes a great gift and benefits players of all ages and ability levels.
Never
and
seen
improves
one of
coaches'
these
practice
since
organization.
McGriff.
To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free. 1-800-352-2121. Call now and we'll ship today.
Now this is, we tried to do this show yesterday, Mark, and I was wearing a special shirt for it. And I was just going to go throw it on while we did this, but I was going to wear my Fred McGriff, Tom Emanski shirt, but I forgot. I'll wear it next time. But
You're not used to the visual qualities of our show.
yeah, I know this is not something we do all the time. What was I gonna? I had something really deep and interesting to say about that. I did want to talk about. Let me pull that up here. I did want to talk about the theme, though, that we were talking about for This Week in Baseball. There's one to start it and one to end. They're both different. I have some information, Mark, on this theme. I know you've been waiting for this, but the theme was composed by a British composer named John Scott, who was 84 years old when he wrote this in 1974. He lived in England, never saw a baseball game. So
Awesome.
But the thing is that this both pieces were written by him, and they were written as stock pieces of music. So he was one of those guys that would just compose music, and he would sell it for people to use in commercials and movies and stuff like that.
Right.
Nothing in mind for them when he wrote them other than to be used generically for projects for whoever paid for them. So I explained it this way. It's like the opening to our podcast. We've got a song. I bought the rights from a website I sat and listened to clips of music for 3 days. I just bought the rights for that. Anybody can use it. I actually heard it being used on Fox Sports right after we started our podcast. They used it for the open of the Daytona 500. And I was like, oh no, our music's going to be used by Fox all the time. But that was the only time that I heard it used. But that is what he composed it for. He scored more than 150 films and TV productions, including the TV series North Dallas 40. He did a movie that I have actually seen called The Final Countdown, which is a Pearl Harbor-like time travel thing with an aircraft carrier. He scored the 1980, this is big, he scored the 1980 episode of Dallas that revealed who shot JR.
Okay, see, that's iconic right there.
I never saw it, but I remember, I didn't watch Dallas, I was too young, but I remember, my God, that was pop culture 101.
Oh, man, all you ever heard was who shot JR.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were talking about. I know it was Dallas.
Yeah.
But it was all the time.
I remember JR was, I forget his name, but he played the guy in I Dream of Jeannie, which is what
Larry Hagman.
Larry Hagman, yeah. He always wore the cowboy hat as JR.
Right.
And didn't Bobby shoot him? Bobby Ewing, I think, was the culprit.
I honestly have no recollection of who shot him.
Like I said, I never saw it.
It could have been Marshall. I don't know.
Well, he's gone, so let's blame him. He also played, this is pretty cool, he played the flute solos on a couple of Beatles tracks.
Really?
You've Got to Hide Your Love Away is one of them, which I think I know that one. I'm sure I've heard it. And he also played the saxophone on the James Bond theme Goldfinger.
Wow.
So this dude was good.
That's very impressive. I love the TWIB theme. Always have.
Yeah, I would argue, at least for our sake, that the TWIB theme, the opening and the closing, because again, they're completely different things, are his most iconic thing.
Yeah, I hear that song. I mean, it's funny because I hadn't watched This Week in Baseball in years, and then I just took a look on YouTube and I found some, and that song still sends like a thrill up my spine. I'm like, there it is. It's time for baseball, baby.
But, and like, I sing it. I've been singing it for the past 3 days. I will probably keep singing it because I've been testing the audio and stuff. So I keep hearing just the open, and yeah, I love it. It immediately
triggers good thoughts of baseball in the old days.
Yep. How am I out of focus again? I mean,
maybe you just are out of focus.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it's not the camera.
Let's see if I can fool it.
That's what's wrong with Bigfoot, he's just out of focus. Bigfoot is blurry, and that's why no pictures come out right.
Well, I don't think people are tuning in to see me, so.
I would be, Jeff. But, I mean, even if I didn't have to right now, I still would.
All right, so let's see. Where's our next episode? We got to go up here. Let me close a couple of windows here. I'm playing director while we do this, which I'm not used to. All right, so this episode is from, it just says 1990, so I don't know what week it is. We can do a brief rundown. 1990, I'm very familiar with in the American League.
Yes.
A's best record in baseball. Run away with it. Get to the World Series. Get swept by the Reds. Ricky Henderson, American League MVP. That's all you need to know about 1990 in a nutshell right there.
That's at least all you need to know, Jeff.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That's all you, meaning me, need to know about 1990. So. All right, let's see. I don't know what to expect in this one. I'm hoping for more Ricky stuff because it is 90, but I'm not sure. I've not seen this episode. Turn it down a little bit there. So. Different open than the last one.
I don't remember this one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, it's got elements of it.
We got computers now. Now we're really
heading for nifty 50. Maybe, baby. Time will tell.
I like those White Sox uniforms too. I like their red, white, and blue uniforms more than their black.
There are other rare books back here. For example, I've got a copy of Connie Mack's baseball book. Signed by Connie Mack.
Oh, I'll take that.
Like father, like son.
Oh, here's something for you.
Clan having loads of fun. So keep on laughing, one and all, because here comes This Week in...
Do you think Mel wrote these opens with all the rhyming?
I would think they left that to a professional rhymer.
All good. We got ads in this one, so Purolator.
This will be fun.
It's like the 10 frames per second effect that they thought was cool.
I don't know about you, Jeff, but living in a city like Seattle or Tacoma, I'm always off driving truck around in the dirt and the dust and the sand. I mean, that's just what I do.
Well, like you, I'm in the Bay Area, so I mean, a lot of places for this to happen.
You know, I love coming to the park with Air Major.
Flying dogs.
Chick magnet.
Nothing better than spending a little time.
And that hair.
Sweet hair. He's got a flying dog and sweet hair and Miller Lite. How can you beat that?
I'm not sure if we're supposed to be advertising alcohol on this. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Good condition for hot prices as low as $100. Just call
1-900
hot cars.
1-900 hot
Stolen cars. You can get them for $100.
It's a 900 number, man. You were paying money to see hot cars. I don't get it.
Is this like one of those phone sex lines where you call for $100 and they talk about cars to you?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think so. It's for people who are sexually attracted to automobiles.
They're out there. Your typical two-strike noise listener. Oh, wait.
Hey, who's that guy?
Ellis.
Who else? Burks.
Oh, 2-1s. Terry.
Tiny.
first before you talk about any playoffs. So
Tiny? Is that? I'd never heard that. Is that a
No,
nickname?
Steiny, man.
Oh, okay. It's like Steiny. I hadn't heard that one.
playing well and winning as many games as we can.
In game one of the three-game set, Steinbach capped Oakland's 5-run first with this 3-run blast, leading up to stopping Boston's 10-game.
So this was a matchup here in the regular season of what would be the ALCS.
Interesting.
Then Ricky Henderson strolled up to the
Hey.
plate and did something he's never done before.
Oh,
Ricky hits one deep to left field.
over the monster.
Oh, no. Just cleared it.
Henderson can go into the home run trot now.
Homer number 24. But at Fenway, career round tripper number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ricky.
Wow. All his time in New York, he never hit a home run in Fenway.
That's crazy.
You know, I came here trying to hit a home run and didn't hit a home run and didn't get no hit. So I decided to go with the line drive, hoping that it happened. So it happened. It took it 12 years before it happened.
Next night, a much ballyhooed pitching matchup between aces.
1, 2, 3.
Are they speaking English? I did not understand.
I didn't get a word there.
Between Oakland's Dave Stewart, perennial Cy Young runner-up.
The stare.
He said perennial Cy Young runner-up. That's kind of rude.
That hurts.
Both pitchers really are the same way. If you're going to get them out of there, you got to get them out of there early.
Pretty well.
If they get a lead, they become real tough. And
Former Hanshin Tiger for a hot minute.
Hey.
Anytime that those two guys hook horns, it usually results in a very, very good game. And
Steinbach completely skipped AAA as a catcher. He went from AA to the big leagues that quick.
But for Timon,
Favorite catcher of all time.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And this bad throw in the first inning helped Oakland to an early lead.
Oops.
Boston's offensive wheels were left spinning as Dave Stewart again beats Clemens.
Fancy glove work.
Well, looks like a future relief.
Mirko again.
That was
Chicago's Bobby
pretty
Thigpen.
Big fan.
Also on hand to watch Daddy set a record.
Outfield very deep, spread out.
Oh, good hawk.
This could be.
George Pratt.
53 saves or something. Okay.
I remember I was so upset because Eck had it.
Yeah.
And they would use, I mean, they brought him in safe situations, 3 runs.
Yeah.
You don't always have to bring your closer in, but they would bring him in like if he'd been used the 2 days before, like every.
Yeah. Playing to the stat.
Yeah. I wonder. I want to look that up and see how many of his saves were 3-run lead saves.
Bobby looks just as cool as a cucumber. But he still feels the excitement
Chili.
when called upon with the chips on the line.
He had a great stance.
I hope I
That
never
foot
lose that.
pointing out front.
When I first started, it was
How'd
a
you get it?
nervousness that almost scared me. But now I try to use it to my advantage instead of the hitters, and don't let them know that I'm nervous. Because I mean, I'm sure they're a little bit nervous up there too. But yeah, I get nervous every time out. But like I said, I try to focus it and use it to my advantage.
Oh, Steve Balboni going down.
There he is. Bye-bye, Balboni. Going bye-bye.
The White Sox are enjoying their finest season in many years, and Thigpen is one reason why, taking part in more than 2/3 of Chicago's victories.
Yeah, because he's in there no matter what.
Just the fact that we're winning and I'm getting in a lot of games, a lot of the time, that helps me the most.
Ventura.
What a job he did.
Talking about king of the
Wrestler's father, Jeff Torborg.
Time for this week's quiz, brought to you by today's Chevy truck. Chicago.
It's not Nissan anymore, Jeff.
Oh, welcome Chevron. Welcome Chevy. Now they're
Either
going
way.
to pull their sponsorship. My bad. That's on me.
Goes that.
It's on me.
Well, Chevron would be a good one to sign with. Price of gas.
Now America's best loved sport utility vehicle gives you 4 doors.
Get that family truckster.
We had a Blazer or whatever that is. Yeah, we
Look at
had
that.
those. Salt Lake for the winter.
Heck yeah.
The heartbeat
What could a sleek Jaguar have in common with a fat cat? That a dashing deer.
These are all RC.
A nimble ram and a big bad bulldog has in common with a cute little...
What in the heck is this for?
What's going on here?
Quality filter protection you can give.
Pure 900 cars again?
It's Purelator.
Purelator.
World's largest filter company.
I'm Cal Worthington. Hey, you
Cal Worthington.
Cal Worthington. No one outside of the West Coast is gonna know who Cal Worthington is, but
this is awesome.
This is
$3
like
grand for that beauty right there.
This is like calm Cal. Like this is old. He doesn't have any circus animals or human cannons.
Oh man. Now I got to find those commercials.
Yeah, if you want to buy a car, go see Cal.
It's Cal Worthington and his dog Spot.
That's right. Wow. Just stick those signs right on the roof. Or the hood.
Man, it's only $89 a month.
Look, you can call. Give us a call. It's on us.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Look at these great panel vans, dude.
Yeah.
They're open till midnight, Jeff, in case you need a car at 11:45
Call collect.
p.m.
Are you still open? Yeah, we're open till midnight. Sweet.
Exciting case Houston's ever seen begins.
Oh, LA gear, those quality.
This is the 20 Vision Neighborhood Notebook. Texas Fathers for Equal Rights is to help
Okay,
Texas Fathers for Equal
clearly
Rights.
we're watching. This was recorded from somebody in Texas.
Yeah, because there's not even a area code.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Remember that when you didn't have to dial an area code? This is 1990.
Let's answer this week's quiz now. Brought to you by today's
I forget what the question was.
Jeff Reardon, the only reliever to save 40 in each league. Did it for the Montreal Expos. And
Oh, they're not going to tell us the question again. Just like,
Saved 40, had 40 saves in each league.
Here's the 2-2 windup. A swing and a bouncer to second. Big hop.
Was that his no-hitter? Yep. Oh, God. He lost a couple of them, I guess, didn't he?
Did.
A swing and a shot down the right field line at the base hit. And there
Good exhibition stadium there.
no hit bid for Dave Steve.
Poor guy. He was a good pitcher too, man. He was
Yeah.
a really solid.
He really was. What? I think we compare him to Jack Morris one time.
Did we?
I mean, I'd be willing to bet Steve's got better numbers than a couple of Hall of Famers.
Has to, yeah.
And he's got a sweet stash.
Close, but no
Does.
cigar. And yet good things come to those who wait and try. And
Workhorse too, 250 innings.
Can I get the soundtrack to this? There's the governor, Jerry Brown. Junior Felix. Or no.
Junior Felix.
Was that? Yeah, that was Junior Felix in right. Yeah. God, if we could just make money by somehow seeing like a second of a player from the 80s or 90s and being able to rattle off their name, we would be set.
It'd be a great way to make a living, I tell you that. Let's see if there's any jobs out there that require it.
At times, his control wasn't picture
Look at that hat.
But this time, Mother Luck was smiling.
There's no illegal substances on that hat.
They swung at some bad pitches for me, and I was able to get a few strikeouts that way, but I was struggling early on, and luckily they didn't get to me, and I was able to work things out.
You got a lot of other reporters. Look at the crowd here behind you. All these
Pat Borders was the catcher. What did we... We came up with some trivia, and he has like the longest postseason hit streak, or he did something in the postseason where he held some mark that we were like, really?
This week in baseball's TWIB Tales.
Oh, this is like our Tales from the Dugout.
Philadelphia's Terry Mulholland threw this season no-hitter.
One of my favorites.
Folks, I suppose you didn't know Terry received an unlikely bit of support from an unlikely source.
The only thing that really stood out in my mind that was kind of what I think was kind of funny, or just really something I won't forget about.
Spit it out,
game is
Perry.
about the 7th or 8th inning. We got a new bat boy a few weeks before the game, and his name's Anthony, and he's a little raw and a little naive, I guess, about some things.
Getting called out.
And nobody else was talking to me, of course. I got a no-hitter going, so nobody's saying much of anything except, go get him. And he walks up to me about the 7th or 8th inning and says, hey, he goes, you're really pitching good tonight. And that, it's just something that'll stick out in my mind.
He told me, I came up to him and I said,
oh, God, here's this.
Pitching, and he remembers that. I don't know why.
15 minutes of fame.
I don't remember it, but he actually does.
At least he didn't say the words no-hitter.
That's right.
At the same rate, he had guts enough to come up and talk to me and didn't,
oh, God, I bet somebody had a talking to him after the game.
Like I encouraged him to, I don't know, do better.
That's an imperial moment for
Kids are
little Anthony.
stupid.
It was fun. So
Combined, Jeff and I have a total of 0 kids.
Yeah, no, let's talk. Yeah, we got the furry kind. So on this cool effect, I paused it here. So if you don't know, Mark used to be a bat boy for the Tacoma Tigers, and then were they the Rainiers at some point too while you were there?
No, I was in the press box by the time they were the Rainiers.
So let's think about back when you were still in the dugout. Mm-hmm. And we've had some great stories about you throughout the 2 years we've been doing this, with filming fights and having tricks played on you. But what was the biggest thing that you did without knowing you were breaking some baseball, unspoken rule? Was there anything? I mean, this kid obviously went and talked to Terry Mulholland in the middle of throwing a no-hitter and said, hey, you're pitching great. Dude, like, did you ever do, maybe not as egregious as that, but did you ever do anything that somebody had to come up and say, hey, you can't do that?
I never spoke up during a no-hitter, but one time I was busy doing a bunch of stuff, and I came in and I was watching like This Week in Baseball or something. I was watching some nightly show and that was very similar. And I saw something and I went, oh man, how did that happen? And I turned and Todd Van Poppel had just walked into and I go, hey dude, did you see this? What's going on with that? And he just looks at me funny. And he goes, no. And he walks out and I was like, what was that all about? Because he's a really friendly guy. So I go walking out and I take a look. He's got a no-hitter into the 6th and I'm babbling. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that wasn't a good idea.
Todd Van Poppel. Nice.
Yes.
No,
he's one of the nicest guys ever.
He was the guy that was going to be a number 1 overall draft pick, a pitcher. And he said, I'm not signing with anybody but Oakland, who was really good. I mean, when was he drafted? Was it 89? Or, I mean, it was right at this time when the A's were in the World Series 3 years in a row.
Yeah, it was like, I'm trying to think.
So
I thought it was like 89, 90 when he was
drafted in first round of the 1990 draft pick out of Arlington, Texas, out of high school. And yeah, he said, I'm not signing with anybody but Oakland. And so I don't think the A's traded, did they? I think just nobody took him because he said he wasn't going to sign.
Yeah, I believe they paid him a nice signing bonus.
Yeah, they gave him a big chunk of money, and
I think he was the first player to get $1 million signing bonus.
Yeah, and he had a decent career. He pitched for 11 years.
Yeah, and he was really good for the Cubs for a while.
Yeah, he just wasn't a starter. That was the thing. Later on in his career, he came out of the bullpen, kind of a middle to long relief guy. And I mean, here, a 3.75, a 2.52 out of the bullpen.
Yeah. No, he was a better pitcher than people remember, just because there was so much hype at the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, Sports Illustrated, I think he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated out of high school.
It was a Beckett magazine with him and Nolan Ryan on the cover.
No pressure there.
Well, there's no pressure.
Because he's coming out of Texas. So, yeah, but no pressure. Just sit me next to the Express. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Todd Van Poppel. let's see here. I want to look at his minor league stats. Boy, Baseball Reference is acting kind of funny today. Let's look here at Todd Van Poppel. In the minor leagues, so here he is at Tacoma. So this is 92, 93. So you were you were there about then. Well, obviously you had to have been. He went 8-10 overall over the 2 years that he was there. 3.97 ERA, not too bad, then not a great one. Yeah. Did he play? No, he didn't play overseas. No. Yeah, so that's boy, that's just a name for A's that I remember. He was going to be someone that was going to continue their dominant pitching, but no, didn't happen.
Yeah. Interesting. He really did have a good head on his shoulders. He didn't ever seem like he was under too much stress. He just wanted to pitch and a good guy, young, very young, but overall, they're a very talented pitcher.
Let's do a little deep dive here and see if Van Poppel was first of the 4 starting pitchers the A's selected in the first 36 picks of the 90 draft, referred to at the time as the 4 Aces. The others were Don Peters, never heard of him, Dave Zancanaro. Yes,
out of UCLA.
Never heard of him. And then this guy I've definitely heard of, Kurt Dressendorfer.
Oh, yeah.
Only Van Poppel and Dressendorfer ever reached the majors. So here we were talking about, he said he would only take, he would only sign with the A's. So the Braves, who had the first overall selection that year, were talking about taking him. And he said, I'm not going to sign with you if you draft me. So they ended up instead drafting Larry Wayne Jones instead, otherwise known as Chipper. So
that was a good pick for them.
Yeah, it worked out for him.
He did all right for their franchise.
Yeah, I think he did okay. Let's see. Anything else here that he's investing in the Denton Outlaws, a Texas Collegiate League team. So good for him. All right.
There's a way I could find him. He'll know me.
Oh,
you just go up to him and say, "Hey, do you know Mako?" And he'll know who you're talking about.
Paul McCartney?
That's right.
All right, let's get back to this episode. This cool effect here that's going.
That was pretty sweet. Oh,
father-son games are also unforgettable.
Oh, that was Dave Valley's kid striking out. Did you see that?
That's not right.
It happened for the first time ever. The Griffiths Jr. and Sr.
I was here first. You should get senior. I've been around a lot longer. You should get junior.
This is so staged.
No, that means you get senior.
This is scripted.
I guess the pinnacle, really. This is the thing that in my career that I'm very proud of. Very proud of. So, you can talk about the 76 batting race and all that, but this is, for me, number one. It all happened because he made it happen. I had been here for 18 years, so it's just a matter of him getting here.
In his Seattle debut, batting second, with his son batting third, our proud Pop did himself mighty proud.
I love those blue Franklin batting gloves.
They're sweet. I'm with you.
But 40-year-old Ken Sr.
I like those Mariner uniforms. I mean, that's like their Sunday uniforms now, except for their cream, right?
Yes.
It was Langston that they hit the back-to-backers off, right?
Was it?
I think it was. Is that Henry Cotto?
Henry Cotto in the background.
Here's the ball.
Boom.
Bo. Bo's like, I'm going to try and run on this kid.
Yeah, I don't think so, pal. Nice. Harold Reynolds.
Phil Bradley.
Scott Bradley. Phil Bradley catching. Or Scott Bradley catching.
Oh, Scott Bradley.
Yeah.
Power to plate. With both Griffiths in the lineup, Seattle was 5-0. Against Baltimore, Ken
Senior trying to make
3
weight
for
with
4,
that
including this base clearing shot.
plastic jacket.
Ripped into right center field. Dave Valley will score. Omar Vizquel.
There's Dave.
Reynolds is being
Hey, Old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore.
3 on Ken Griffey Sr.'s double.
When you've got your power stroke going,
Generic team.
you've got confidence that nothing's going to beat you.
All right, well, if you need
Power
a sweat stick, go ahead and pick up some power stick.
Power stick. It actually would give you more power. Steroids in it. Okay, I made that up. Nobody believed it. Please. There was one guy that was listening that was going to believe that. Knock it off. It's like 3 years from now, too.
Oh, this is a theme they need to bring back.
Yeah. Scott.
This is great.
Look at this. This is Larry Anderson was on there, so they didn't have Bagwell yet.
That was awesome. I have seen some videos when I'm looking for things to talk about on YouTube of just old, like 80s team commercials like this for the Astros where they have these themes that they've written.
Catch the action, Jeff.
I think like 30, well, not 30. I think like 12 other major league teams had Catch the Action as their theme at one point during the 80s. I guarantee it.
Oh,
okay. We're not going to give Rena Center any love here.
That's terrible.
Style dinners remind me of
Or IHOP.
Chicken fry.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Back into it.
Within the urban setting of Richmond Hill, New York, there's a wealth of baseball literature. The Austin Bookshop, a place to find rare books pertaining to our national pastime. All sorts of tales, most of them out of print.
Is the whole store is just baseball books?
It's like it. It's our kind of hangout.
Wow. That's how could they possibly stay in business?
I've learned from over a long period of
People
time
like
how
us,
I
man.
acquired
Yeah,
books
but
since 1954. And
Dwight Schrute
when we
buying
wanted to
a
go into the baseball business,
denying a book.
I knew where to find them, and I knew how to get them quickly, so that in a very short time, from '86.
Boy, I bet Bernie didn't have a tough time in school with that last name.
Country concerning baseball. When the people at the Hall of Fame are looking for a book for someone, or someone wants a book, they direct them to the Austin Bookshop.
Wow, is this really all just baseball books?
Finding rare books.
What's it called? Austin's?
I travel all over the country looking for baseball books, but most of them come to me through the mail from men and women in my trade who know that I buy them and will be glad to sell them to me. This one, for example, just came in. This is the first edition of the Encyclopedia of Baseball from 1969.
Wow, still open.
Because it has stuff in it that was not put into the later editions, and people look at this book. It's worth about $50.
Over the years,
$50
Yeah, I'll give you 50
then.
right now, buddy.
All right, so this is still open, but it looks like they sell just antique books now.
Okay.
But it's still open. It's closed right now, but it opens at noon tomorrow. So they don't have a website.
We should go there.
Yeah,
Make
it like a mecca, you know.
I'm gonna put that on the list next time we go to New York.
He called looking for books for his own library, and when he called, he was very modest on the phone. He didn't say, "This is Commissioner Giamatti." He just said, "This is Mr. Giamatti calling, and I want to buy some baseball books." I knew it was Giamatti, but I thought I'd put him on a little bit, and I said, "Which Giamatti are you?" And all he said was Bart Giamatti. He never said that he was Commissioner Giamatti. And he was interested in books about former commissioners, particularly the book about Judge Landis that was written by Spink,
which
he bought from us. For
I
his own
hope he
collection.
wasn't planning on patterning
Baseball
himself
books that we
after.
have right here at the beginning of the shelves are Jim Brosnan.
Look at all the
The
ball
Long
fours
Season,
there.
which was the first time a baseball player did a really accurate depiction of what it was like to be a baseball player in his own diary. No one wrote this for Brosnan, he wrote it himself. And then the second important baseball book of recent times is Jim Bouton's Ball 4, which made baseball players into human beings. They just weren't cardboard figures anymore. An extraordinary man in the history of baseball was Mo Berg, who we later found out was a spy for the United States during before World War II in Japan. And this copy
Write that down.
By
In case you didn't know.
come from Gerald Ford's collection, the president's collection.
Jeez.
Of course, a ball player's autograph boosts the value
Wow.
of the book considerably.
Looks like Lefty Grove at top.
Hank Baroe, Tom Sturdivant, and
Tom Sturdivant?
Tom Sturdivant!
How cool is that? So if you're new, Tom Sturdivant has unfortunately passed away, but his grandson, who he was close with, we got to talk to, and he told us some great stories about his grandfather's time with the Yankees and stories that he had told us. That's very cool.
That was awesome to hear. I like it. I like it.
Chairman of the board. There are other rare books back here. For example, I've got a copy of Connie Mack's baseball book.
Connie Mack's baseball book.
Connie Mack was Mr. Baseball, and this is an extraordinarily fine copy of the book in great shape, and the signature is authenticated by the fact that there was a facsimile on the front cover, and you can see it's the same as the signature on the
I
inside.
thought that was printed.
And this book is
Oh, wow.
Oh, I thought he's going to rip the page out. He's like...
You can have the autograph. No!
On one level, it cuts across all economic levels, all social levels.
He looks like Bernie Sanders. That's who he looks, and he talks like him.
It's an equalizer. When I want to talk to my son and we have nothing to talk about, we can talk about baseball anytime. You can always talk baseball to anybody.
Baseball,
On any
Ray.
level.
Baseball.
And that's what makes the game so great, and what makes the interest in baseball books so great for me. Another important...
I see baseball encyclopedias there.
And these are the last two copies.
I could like spend a month in there
I could spend a year.
and like not even eat.
It takes heart, and his other book called You Can't Beat the Hours. The last two left. How about that?
How about that? Is
He's
right.
like, I don't make fun of my books.
That was pretty cool.
The Braves' 1990 story hasn't been very compelling, but of late things have been
Well, I think your
looking up.
91 will be
A
okay.
Tale of Justice. Dave Justice, that is. After taking over for Dale Murphy in
Future
right field,
Oakland Athletic.
That's
Jeff.
right.
Field's
Moneyballer.
driving home.
I had to think a lot on defense, and I could say it did take away a little bit of
Mr.
my
Halle Berry.
concentration on hitting.
Look how young he is. Wow.
To the outfield, I could devote
Looks
more
like he's
time
delivering
to my
papers during the day.
hitting and thinking about what I was going to do at the plate, and it's worked out all right.
Atlanta Fulton County Stadium.
Justice has hit for power and average. His sweet swing reminds some folks
Look at the
of a
base.
Hall of Fame
The
slugger
base coaching
who once
boxes
played for
were
the Chicago
AstroTurf.
Cubs. Talking about Billy Williams.
Dave, in my mind, was always a true hitter, a true swinger. He had a swing, to me, similar
Good
to
old
Billy
Bobby.
Williams. And,
Surprised he didn't get tossed during the interview.
we've got a great player in our hands, and he is a great player.
I didn't even recognize him at first.
Yeah, I know. He's so young there.
Used to him being ancient.
And if justice has its way, Dave should become the National League's Rookie of the Year. His uniform number tells you how many homers he's already hit.
I think it's probably going to be between Delano DeShields and Dave Justice, and I tell you what, as far as
Another future athletic right there.
Ron, watch out for Kent Herbeck. He's evil.
Ron, watch out for Kent Herbeck Gant.
Could win Comeback Player of the Year. After spending much of last year in
Now the
minors,
roof's on.
Gant has enjoyed a career season.
I think last year helped me a great deal mentally because I work harder now. My work habits are a lot better than they have been because I don't want to go through that anymore. And you know,
He was a muscular dude. He wasn't
was.
tall, but he was.
Took very good care of himself.
Gant's on a pace to hit 30 homers.
Here's the 1-2 to Gant. Driven high and deep to left field. Hatcher's going to watch
Muscled that out.
Run combines home run power with speed. Might even wind up becoming only the 8th National Leaguer to become a member of baseball's 30-30 club. 30 homers, 30 stolen bases.
Yeah, I really think he's going to do that this season, and for next year he would repeat on that very easily. In my mind, he could steal more than 30 bases. There's very few catchers and pitchers that can hold him and throw him out.
Loses a little bit of time. He like jerks up when he runs instead of just going.
Add to that, a touch of maturity.
All the things that have happened to me, it made me grow mentally as well as physically, and I feel like I've grown up a lot.
Now our Players of the Week.
It'll be
brought
fun.
to you by Gatorade. Batters up, Dave Justice, Ron Gant.
We literally just talked about them.
Come on, you made it too cheap.
It's the same
Who should we make
highlights.
Players of the Week? I don't know. We already did these guys. Just throw them on there.
Literally.
They're Players of the Week. Why not? Did they play this week? Yeah, they're good.
This is lazy broadcasting here, Twin.
On.
Lazy.
When things get this hot, you know something's going down. New orange
Oh,
and
yeah.
new fruit punch Gatorade. Now with more orange, more fruit punch.
God, I used to, in those glass bottles,
With fluids, minerals.
finish football practice. I was in high school at this point, and I would bike home, which was straight uphill, and then I would drink a whole bottle of that every day.
He did some good advertising for you, man. You knew it was for athletes. And someday you would host a baseball history podcast.
A peek at the new Comiskey Park with Bob Vila.
I'm here in Chicago.
With Bob Vila, nice.
First-hand look at one of the most exciting construction projects.
Wait, is he a candy striper or what? Or the good humor man? Like, what is with the shirt and the white
Vila.
pants?
I didn't know Bob Vila built the park. That's amazing.
Wow.
Anywhere in America.
Didn't you see the PBS special Building New Comiskey with Bob Vila and
I
whatever
missed
his sidekick was?
That's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
In
Travel
baseball.
arranged through Continental Airlines, with more flights to the fun
Who's
of South
traveling
Mexico
for this
than
show?
Any other U.S. airline. Continental, working to be your
Seriously,
choice.
I mean,
Nobody, everybody's in studio. What's going on with that?
Dykstra wrote a book when he was with the Mets called Nails, which is very popular here among the women in Queens. Lenny Dykstra evidently had quite a number of...
it's very popular with the lawyers here.
Just to stop for a moment, you can take this down. You might be interested where the word book club came from.
Oh, we're not going to get to find out. I'm guessing, but when I saw it, and especially once we found out this was an all baseball bookstore, I'm assuming it has to do with the Brooklyn, they call them the bums. That's what I thought. Book bum. It even kind of sounds like Brooklyn a little bit.
Them bums.
Yeah. Well, Mark, that was fun. That was like a lot of fun watching those.
That brought some memories back, man. And I mean, that's why we do this show, because we have such fun memories of baseball. So that was fun. That was really cool.
Yeah, and again, if you're new here or whatever, we do a weekly baseball history podcast called Two Strike Noise. You can find it wherever you get podcasts. It'll be in the show notes wherever you're watching this. You can find us there. But this is the kind of stuff we like to talk about. Mark, I'd like to do this more often. This Week in Baseball, there's just other baseball shows and stuff that we could watch like this. I've been starting to make a collection of local spots that baseball players do.
Nice.
Nice. One, and if you're a listener, you know that we love Brett Saberhagen's rapping commercial for Ford trucks. That's the kind of stuff. I'm trying to put together a little catalog so we can watch them. I got a Randy Johnson one for some water heaters and just some weird stuff that you wouldn't expect people to... You wouldn't see unless you're in the local market. But
You get pitchers doing some pitching of products is what you got.
exactly. And some position players strike out with what they're trying to pitch. It's all
Sounds like a story of my life, man.
All baseball. So, Mark, that's cool. Let's do this again. We've got a podcast coming up, depending on when you're watching this. What show number are we on? We are on show number 143. Yeah, show number 143 is coming out next. If you enjoyed this kind of stuff, especially this one from the 90s, you want to make sure to join us because we have a very special guest, probably one of our biggest
Definitely.
guests we've had on the show, and had a lot of fun. Got some good stories out of him. So be sure to check that out, and yeah, we'll hopefully do some more stuff here on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you're watching this. We'll do it live with some video. So, Mark, I think that's it.
Sounds like fun. I had a great time, Jeff. This was a great idea, man.
Yeah, I hope everybody else enjoyed. If you've got something you want us to watch, or you've got a specific week, by the way, of This Week in Baseball, or some show like this, hit us up down in the comments and tell us what you want to do. If you like this, also, I'm just any memories you had. I mean, it was fun, Mark. We're watching it and we're just like, oh, that's Henry Cotto. Oh, that's just these names that we don't always think about, but we look and see a player in a jersey with a number or the way they wear their uniform, and you instantly know who it is, which is some of the stuff we like to do.
Crazy. Yep. Love it.
All right. Well, that'll wrap up the stream here. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the podcast or wherever else we see you.
Thanks, everybody. God bless you. Have a great day.